This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good morning, Marta Asso. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful morning?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. What about you, Angel?
I'm great. I'm so glad to have this conversation with you. What part of the world are you in right now?
I'm actually right now in Milan, Italy.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Great pleasure to connect with you in Italy right now. Do tell us which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this specific time in history, Marta.
It's most definitely being on LinkedIn and doing great at networking. I've seen your profile on LinkedIn. I've seen your great podcasts, and that's why I decided to connect with you. And I've been doing great on LinkedIn with my videos, with my vlogs. So that's how we got here.
That's wonderful. Tell us more about your videos and your blog, please.
So I started blogging on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has started to implement the video feature, I think, like 2 years ago, maybe 1 year and a half ago. And I started doing blogs on LinkedIn randomly once because I was curious about it. So I tested the platform, and I was writing on LinkedIn. So I switched to video, basically randomly tested the platform. And my first video went viral in Italy, like 35K views in like less than a month. So, that's how I got, I started blogging. And so this has led to me lots of opportunities, and it's been great. And also I met my co-founder on LinkedIn. So if you are, advice is if you want to start blogging, do it. Don't think about it too much. Just start doing and test it.
Were you nervous when you started it?
It was a year ago, almost a year and a half ago, so.
Oh yeah, no, I asked, were you nervous when you did that?
Yeah, I actually no. I think maybe on the first one, first time, yes, but then you get used to it, and you start realizing that there's nothing to fear, and the camera is not eating you, so it's just the medium through which you communicate. So it's just it does you good if you do it good. So.
So it seems as though you have a high level of confidence. Who did you learn that from?
I think I started being on video when I was a kid. My father used to videotape basically everything I did, as many fathers in the 90s, like with the old cameras with the VHS inside. But I think that was the first approach to video I got. But then again, when I went studying business abroad in London and in San Francisco, I did public speaking. I did lots of presentations also with my startup and, my projects. So, that's how I got to approach the stage, and in general, speaking in front of someone, which is also speaking in front of a camera.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So it's experience, right?
Why will you continue to be that person who gets in there? You have the startup, you're doing your business. Why will you be that person that's daring?
I think it's critic to be online, and the online presence of people, and it's not sufficient to be on the market with something, a business, a project, anything, or to work at a company if you don't create and build your own personal brand. You know it very well with your podcasts. If you don't build your online presence, it's sad to say, but it's as if you didn't exist in some markets. And the continuous testing of social media and in general of the vlog medium for me has led me to convince myself that really it is all about the first impression, and then how you're able to create something on and above that first impression you give to people, which in my case can be, super funny, super nice. And, this person is online, like she's bold enough to be on, doing vlogs at 26 years old, business vlogs, even though many people, going like, what do you know about business at 26, right? And sometimes there's people that actually, see, this person, like, she's a lot of time to waste. And generally speaking, it's not true, because my videos are 1-minute videos. You know how time management goes very well. You too. And the thing is, I just spend a couple of minutes per week recording my videos, and that's it. And then I put them online. So it's not a big effort, but it does me, it creates a lot of opportunities. So compounding the opportunities is, it's just been amazing in a year or so. And also I met my co-founder like this. So how about that?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's definitely amazing. The power of the internet, the power of networking, the power of sharing your story. Tell us one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
Well, I think what the best thing, and the thing that's actually led me to also started vlogging, but also like creating all this and approaching all these opportunities that crossed my path, is my actual hashtag and brand, which is Stop Whining. I eliminated all the excuses, even the daily ones. You're complaining because you're in a line at the supermarket and it doesn't go fast, or stuck in traffic, right? And I think the power of realizing that we give ourselves a whole bunch of excuses and we don't even realize it. And those excuses are actually hindering us from pursuing what we actually want. Sometimes they're just the wrong glasses through which we see and analyze the reality. And if you don't analyze reality and the environment, the external environment correctly, you cannot see opportunities, and also you cannot approach them, right? So I think the fact that I started testing myself on this and challenging myself is, you're giving yourself this excuse. And it's been very, very difficult. It still is. But I think it's kind of a habit that people just like me and other people that, have this narrative of stop complaining online and also offline are, it's just a habit. You develop the habit, and then at first it's difficult. Then you realize how, which power it creates, because you no longer waste time giving you this talk, and it's actually super powerful. And I think it's a habit that it's really undervalued in general. So it's been probably the thing that has led me to the success I've got, and all the things that have happened in my life, and that started happening actually just right after I started Stop Whining. So it's not by chance, right?
That's amazing. I love it. Stop Whining, the hashtag.
Yeah,
I love it. So tell us, where's the best place for someone that's listening to connect with you?
So it's most definitely LinkedIn or Instagram. Right. I'm there, Marta Asso with an F in the end on Instagram.
Love it. All right. Well, Marta, let's switch gears for a moment now. Let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Marta, what is your earliest childhood memory?
I think my earliest childhood memory is a memory I got in kindergarten. And actually, it's pretty funny because I remember kindergarten quite well. But the first thing I actually remember is introducing my best friend to my grandma. And this guy has been my best friend and still is my best friend. So he's my best friend for life. He's kind of my brother from another mother. So the best memory and the earliest memory is this. And I introduced him to my grandma, as the best person that could ever have been introduced to her. And I think it's significant that this is my first memory, because this guy is still with me, and has seen it all. So this is it.
How do you see it connecting to who you are today? The perspective of you being the introducer.
Excuse me?
Sure. How do you see that memory connecting to who you are today when you look at it from the perspective of you being the introducer?
I think it's kind of an interesting question, because it's actually the first question you asked me is the talent, the power through which we connected, and it's actually the power of networking. I was not a person. I'm not an introvert, but let's say I was not super high on networking. I learned the skill of networking, and it's been, I've been doing really great since, because at this point in time, if I try to connect that specific moment to right now, to today, it's actually what I do every day, and starting, to create synergies with people. I do a lot of PR, not only online but also offline, because I think 1 + 1 doesn't always equal 2. Sometimes it equals 3, because synergies happen. So I think at that point in time, that memory maybe did not mean so much. Right now, it's kind of interesting that for me it's quite a significant memory, because look at what I do today. So
yeah, it's amazing. I love how it connects. All right. If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
Oh, it was most definitely Basket Case from Green Day. I used to be punk rock kid with all the Green Day, Blink-182, Sum 41 music. Also listening to good old rock music, like Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, the Black Sabbath, and stuff like that. Still, I think especially the album, the CD, American Idiot from Green Day, is kind of a generational anthem for us, and it's always been. Right now, my daily job is, my company is focused on being a generational bridge between new and older generations. So I think that in my formation, my education made quite the shift in my mindset, because I realized I was not the only one having troubles of my generation, having troubles to communicate, to be understood, be listened. So yeah, and most definitely, as the last question, also about my earliest childhood memories, you always have to connect, which I love you asked me, because you always have to connect with your own inner kiddo, as I always say, and also with your teenage years, because then again, you really had the power and the strength to dream without boundaries, right? So
yeah, it's great as well that you're introducing the next generation to the previous generation in your memory as well. Yeah.
Exactly.
Your godmother. Yeah, super cool. Love it. All right. Well, we've now arrived at our destination. But before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready?
All right.
Marta, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Not yet.
Are you married?
No.
Do you have children?
No.
Do you believe in God?
No.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Of course I do. I could not live without them.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
I don't.
How about 3 hours a week?
No.
What about screen time, the phone and the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
It is less. I probably on my phone it's more.
All right. If you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, Marta.
What else? Stop whining.
Hashtag stop whining. Well, Marta, this has been such a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I would just like to share some quick insight of my daily life, and it's this one. Never give yourself the excuse of the fear of the no word, the N word. for not asking questions. Always ask, always ask, always ask. If newborns don't cry, they don't get fed. And it's the same for us. So always ask. And if you get a no, you maybe asked the wrong person. And maybe this person can introduce you to someone else. But just harness the power of asking. Always, always, always. Even if you're afraid it makes you look stupid, the stupid person does not ask questions. The clever person is the one that asks questions.
Totally agree with that. Again, amazing audience, Marta Asso. Marta, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
This segment has been brought to you by Amazel Enterprise.